Hey, how's it going, you guys? For today's video, I decided to do something different. I told you previous video that I wanted to do something for Inktober, aka Inktober, and I decided today I'm going to draw. It's not gonna be a very beautiful, luscious, awesome drawing at all, but it showcases my very basic skills of what I can draw. And stay tuned until the end of the video, and you'll see what kind of uh, thing I attempted to draw for this video. I also decided for this video I wanted to tell a scary story, and it's going to be one of the scary stories from the book. The book Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, which Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, collected from folklore and retold by Alvin Swartz. Oh, I think I butchered his name. Should be fine though. I think hopefully. Please don't come for me, Alan. Uh, so I decided that what I wanted to do is just tell the short stories in this book, and it's gonna hopefully be very interesting to listen to as you watch me draw my image. If you are not into scary stories, I probably recommend you to just skip to the end of the video just to see what I drew if you're interested. But if you do like scary stories, please stay. And hopefully you like the video. Please subscribe and leave any comments. Here we go. So, the story I'm going to tell is The Big Toe. A boy was digging at the edge of the garden when he saw a big toe. He tried to pick it up, but it was stuck to something. So he gave it a good, hard jerk, and it came off in his hand. Then he heard something groan and scamper away. The boy took the toe into the kitchen and showed it to his mother. "It looks nice and plump," she said. "I'll put it in the soup, and we'll have it for supper." That night, his father carved the toe into 3 pieces, and they each had a piece. Then they did the dishes, and when it got dark, they went to bed. The boy fell asleep almost at once, but in the middle of the night, a sound awakened him. It was something out in the street. It was a voice, and it was calling to him. "Where is my toe?" it groaned. When the boy heard that, he got very scared. But he thought, "It doesn't know where I am. It will never find me." Then he heard the voice once more, only now it was closer. "Where is my toe?" it groaned. The boy pulled the blankets over his head and closed his eyes. "I'll go to sleep," he thought. "When I wake up, it will be gone." But soon he heard the back door open, and again he heard the voice. "Where's my toe?" it groaned. Then the boy heard footsteps move through the kitchen, into the dining room, into the living room, into the front hall. Then slowly they climbed the stairs. Closer and closer they came. Soon they were in the upstairs hall. Now they were outside his door. "Where's my toe?" the voice groaned. His door opened. Shaking with fear, he listened as the footsteps slowly moved through the dark towards his bed. Then they stopped. "Where's my toe?" the voice groaned. "You've got it." Hope you enjoyed that short story. If you have read this book before, there is an alternative ending to The Big Toe. And basically, that ending goes, When the boy hears a voice calling for its toe, he finds a strange-looking creature up inside the chimney. The boy is so frightened he can't move. He just stands there and stares at it. Finally, he asks, "What you got such big eyes for?" And the creature answers, "To look you through and through." What you got such big claws for? To scratch up your grave. Oh, what you got such a big mouth for? To swallow you whole. What you got such sharp teeth for? To jump your bones. Yeah, that's the alternate ending. I remember reading this when I was little. Ooh, that one was creepy. Oh. But let's move on. Here is the second short story from the book called The Walk. My uncle was walking down a lonely dirt road one day. He came upon a man who also was walking down that road. The man looked at my uncle, and my uncle looked at the man. The man was scared of my uncle, and my uncle was scared of that man. But they kept on walking, and it began to get dark. The man looked at my uncle, and my uncle looked at the man. The man was very scared of my uncle, and my uncle was very scared of that man. But they kept on walking, and they came to a big wood. It was getting darker, and the man looked at my uncle, and my uncle looked at the man. The man was really scared of my uncle. My uncle was really scared of that man. But they kept on walking, and deep down into the woods they went. It was getting darker, and the man looked at my uncle, and my uncle looked at the man. The man was terrible scared of my uncle, and my uncle was terrible scared of... And that's the end of it. I'm supposed to scream, but, I'm not trying to blow out people's eardrums. But, yeah. Here's the third short story. It's called, What Do You Come For? There was an old woman who lived all by herself, and she was very lonely. Sitting in the kitchen one night, she said, "Oh, I wish I had some company." No sooner had she spoke than down the chimney tumbled 2 feet from which the flesh had rotted. The old woman's eyes bulged with terror. Then 2 legs dropped to the earth and attached themselves to the feet. Then the body tumbled down, then 2 arms, and a man's head. As the old woman watched, the parts came together into a great gangling man. The man danced around the room. Faster and faster he went. Then he stopped, and he looked into her eyes. "What do you come for?" she asked in a small voice that shivered and shook. "What do I come for?" he said. "I come for you." Ooh. Ooh, creepy, creepy. Alright. Here is the next story. It is called... Hold on. The Thing. Oh my god. This story always creeped me out. But, hope you guys like it. The Thing. Ted Martin and Sam Miller were good friends. They spent a lot of time together. On this particular night, they were sitting on the fence near the post office talking about one thing and another. There was a field of turnips across the road. Suddenly, they saw something crawl out of the field and stand up. It looked like the man, but in the dark, it was hard to tell for sure. Then it was gone. But soon it appeared again. It walked halfway across the road and then it turned around and went back into the field. Then it came out a 3rd time and started towards them. By now, Ted and Sam were scared, and they started running, but when they finally stopped, they decided they were being foolish. They weren't sure what had scared them, so they decided to go back and get a better look. Pretty soon, they saw it, for it was coming to meet them. It was wearing black pants, a white shirt, and black suspenders. Sam said, "I'm going to try to touch it. Then we'll know if it's real." He walked up to it and peered into its face. It had bright, penetrating eyes sunk deep in its head. It looked like a skeleton. Ted took one look and screamed, and again he and Sam ran, but this time the skeleton followed them. When they got to Ted's house, they stood in the doorway and watched it. It stayed out in the road for a while, then it disappeared. A year later, Ted got sick and died. Towards the end, Sam sat up with him every night. The night Ted died, Sam said he looked just like the skeleton. Ooh. All right. Next story is called Cold as Clay. A farmer had a daughter for whom he cared more than anything on earth. She fell in love with a farmhand named Jim, but the farmer did not think Jim was good enough for his daughter. To keep them apart, he sent her to live with her uncle on the other side of the country. Soon after she left, Jim got sick and he wasted away and died. Everyone said he died of a broken heart. The farmer felt so guilty about Jim's death he could not tell his daughter what happened. She continued to think about Jim and the life they might have had together. One night, many weeks later, there was a knock on her uncle's door. When the girl opened the door, Jim was standing there. Your father asked me to get you, he said. I came on his best horse. Is there anything wrong? She asked. I don't know, he said. She packed a few things and they left. She rode behind him, clinging to his waist. Soon he complained of a headache. It aches something terrible, he told her. She put a hand on his forehead. Why are you so cold as clay? She said. I hope you are not ill. And she wrapped a handkerchief around his head. They traveled so swiftly that in a few hours they reached the farm. The girl quickly dismounted and knocked on the door. Her father was startled to see her. Didn't you send for me? She said. No, I didn't, he said. She turned to Jim, but he was gone, and so was the horse. They went to the stable to look for them. The horse was there. It was covered with sweat and trembling with fear, but there was no sign of Jim. Terrified, her father told her the truth about Jim's death. Then quickly he went to see Jim's parents. They decided to open his grave. The corpse was in his coffin, but around his head they found the girl's handkerchief. Ooh, that is super creepy. Oh, my goodness. There's a lot more good stories in this book, trust me. But I don't know if I want to keep reading because I'm starting to get pretty freaked out already. And yeah, there is, if you haven't read this book yet, you should definitely read it. There's a lot of good scary stories in here. Not super gore scary, but like bone chilling kind of scary. Makes you think of scary things in the dark and the ones where you probably don't want to sleep after hearing these stories. I'm kidding. I don't know. It's just pretty light stories, but yeah, definitely recommend reading this book. Hope you guys liked everything. See you later.